Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self control, performance of sacrifice, study of Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Right? So we have to think about this. Do we have these qualities? So what do you think? Do we have these qualities? Hmm?
No, Prabhu, we are very far. I am very far.
We are all very far, actually. We are all very far. I mean, we are maybe doing one thing, cultivation of spiritual knowledge. So we are doing this Bhagavad Gita class. Once in a while, we may do some charity, but we should do more charity, especially charity to Krishna conscious activities. That is called above the three modes of material nature. Usually, charity done to a improper person will give you negative karma. If somebody wants to drink alcohol and you do charity, you'll get the karma of his drinking alcohol, right? So, yeah, truthfulness. Are we truthful? We cannot be truthful in the modern world. Most of the things we say are lies, especially if you are in marketing for a company. You are paid to say lies. You are paid to, uh, you know, massage the truth, as they say. They won't say it's a lie, but massage the truth. Especially when we go for a job interview, our resume is not perfectly truthful. Because if it's perfectly truthful, you won't get a job. So we have to tell what the other fellow wants to hear. Otherwise, the fellow won't give you a job. So what do? Right? So these are the qualities that Krishna himself is saying, the Supreme Lord is saying. If you want to be thought of as a divine person, then you have to have these qualities. Right? So if you don't have the qualities, we better get those qualities. So we can do some rating. Where do I stand? Right? In each one of these, we can give our self rating from a scale of 1 to 10. Oops, what happened? What happened to the Excel? Did I close it? Looks like it. Yeah, rating scale of 1 to 10. And then we can say fearless. Am I really fearless? Right? We just talked about that concept of fear. So we should not be fearless. That's what Krishna is saying. That is a negative quality to be fearful. So maybe I can give myself a rating of 2 out of 10. Purification, maybe I can say, oh, maybe I am not really 5, maybe 3. Cultivation of spiritual knowledge, maybe 3. Charity, maybe 3, like that. And then we realize, Arey Baba, I have to go to 10. I'm like way beyond, way behind in my journey. Right? Renunciation. Renunciation means giving up NATO principle. Not attached to objects. Remember, we talked about NATO, not attached to objects. Self-control. Are we controlled? Yeah, we are controlled when everything is going well. But the moment something happens to us, physically or for our job or for our money, then we lose our self-control. Austerity. Means eating less, sleeping less, fasting, doing chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is also an austerity, because your tongue doesn't want to chant it. Your tongue wants to talk about some movie or something like that. But to not talk about a movie and talk about Krishna is austerity. Simplicity, we talked about this also earlier. So if you go down the list, Krishna expects a lot, believe it or not. Huge list. Again, I'm just the messenger, right? I'm just telling you what Krishna expects. But the list is given by Krishna himself. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Abhayam. Bhayam means fear. Abhayam, no fear. Sattva Samsuddhir. Jnana Yoga. Vyavastiti. Dhanam, charity. Tamas, self-control. Swadhyayas, reading of the scriptures, Vedas. Ahimsa, not doing any himsa. Satyam, truthfulness. Akrodha, not being fearful. Not being angry, actually. Yeah. Krodha means anger. Tyagaha, renunciation. Santir, peace, peaceful disposition, tolerance, like that. Daya, mercy. Shama, tolerance. Saucham, cleanliness. Right? In this way, all these are the qualities. Sampadam, sampad. Normally we think sampad means money, wealth. But sampadam, Krishna is saying in the context of qualities. These are various qualities are also sampad. We only think in terms of money because in modern day everything is revolving around money. So if you have money on your credit card, then you click a button, things will come from an online store to you. But sampad, these are all the sampad. So a poor man is somebody who doesn't have these things, right? So who is rich, who is poor? If you don't have these things, if you don't have determination, if you don't have gentleness, if you don't have tranquility or tyaga, renunciation, then you are poor, according to Lord Krishna. So by that measure, the whole world is poor, very, very poor. Yeah, some people have money due to some past charity or some past karma, right? The entire country is going poor, but the top 5 companies are getting richer, like Amazon, Microsoft, Google. Their stock is growing up and up and up, no stopping. In 4 months, Amazon went from 1,600 to 3,000. Microsoft went from 160 to something like 208. So when everybody else is becoming poor, these companies are getting rich, because that is the nature of our society. Because most of the key assets are owned by these 5 companies: Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Twitter, not Twitter, Facebook. Twitter is not that rich. So everybody else is poor, actually. These are sampada. Do we have these sampadam qualities? No, we are all poor. Okay. Vijay Mataji, please read this.
Okay, Prabhu. In the beginning of the 15th chapter.
No, I want to read it. Okay.
No, wait.
In the beginning of the, let's read it together.
In the
In the beginning of the 15th chapter, the banyan tree of this material world was explained. The extra roots coming out of it were compared to the activities of the living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the 9th chapter also, the devas or godly and the asuras, the ungodly or demons, were explained. Now, according to the Vedic rites, activities in the mode of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation, and such activities are known as Daivi Prakriti, transcendental by nature. Those who are situated in the transcendental nature, make progress on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in the modes of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. Either they will have to remain in this material world as human beings, or they will descend among the species of animals or even lower life forms. In this 16th chapter, the Lord explains both the transcendental nature and its attendant qualities, and the demoniac nature and its qualities. He also explains the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities. The word abhijatasya, in reference to one born of transcendental qualities or godly tendencies, is very significant. To beget a child in a godly atmosphere is known in the Vedic scriptures as Garbhadana Samskara. If the parents want a child in the godly qualities, they should follow the 10 principles recommended for the social life of the human being. In Bhagavad Gita, we have studied also before that sixth life before begetting a good child is Krishna himself. Sex life is not condemned provided the process is used in Krishna consciousness. Those who are in Krishna consciousness at least should not beget children like cats and dogs, but should beget them so that they may become Krishna conscious after birth. That should be the advantage of children born of a father and mother absorbed in Krishna conscious. The social institution known as Varnashrama Dharma, the institution dividing society into 4 divisions of social life and 4 occupational divisions or castes, is not meant to divide human society according to birth. Such divisions are in terms of educational qualifications. They are to keep the society in a state of peace and prosperity. The qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so that he can get liberated from the material world. In the Varnashrama institution, the sannyasi, or the person in the renounced order of life, is considered to be the head or the spiritual master of all social statuses, and orders. A brahmana is considered to be the a brahmana is considered to be the spiritual master of the 3 other sections of a society, namely the kshatriyas, the vaishyas, shudras, but a sannyasi, who's on the top of the institution, is considered to be the spiritual master of the brahmanas.
Of the Brahmanas also.
So the sannyasis are the spiritual master of the brahmanas?
Yes, first read it. You can ask questions later.
The brahmanas also. For a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness. Because a sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guarantee of support, he has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one thinks, after I leave my connections, who will protect me? He should not accept the renounced order of life. One must be convinced that Krishna.
Fully convinced.
One must be fully convinced that Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his localized aspect as Paramatma, is always within, and that he is seeing everything, and he always knows that one intends to do, what one intends to do. One must thus have firm conviction that Krishna is as Paramatma will take care of a soul surrendered to him. I shall never be alone, one should think. Even if I live in the darkest regions of a forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna, and he will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced order of life. Then he has to purify his existence. There are so many rules and regulations to be followed in the renounced order of life. Most important of all, a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to have any intimate relationship with a woman. He is even forbidden to talk with a woman in a secluded place. Lord Chaitanya was an ideal sannyasi, and he was at Puri.
When he was at Puri.
And when he was at Puri, his feminine devotees could not even come near to offer their respect. They were advised to bow down from a distant place. This is not a sign of hatred for women as a class, but it is a stricture imposed on the sannyasi not to have any close connections with women. One has to follow the rules and regulations of a particular status of life in order to purify his existence. For a sannyasi, intimate relations with women and possession of wealth for sense gratification are strictly forbidden. The ideal sannyasi was Lord Chaitanya himself. And we can learn from his life that he was a very strict in regards to women. Although he is considered to be the most liberal incarnation of Godhead, accepting the most fallen conditioned souls, he strictly followed the rules and regulations of the sannyasa order of life in connection with association with women. One of his personal associates, namely Chota Haridasa, was associated with Lord Chaitanya along with his other confidential personal associates. But somehow or other, this Chota Haridasa looked lustily on a young woman, and Lord Chaitanya was so strict that he at once rejected him from the society of his personal associates. Lord Chaitanya said, for a sannyasi or anyone who is aspiring to get out of the clutches of material nature and trying to elevate himself to the spiritual nature and go back home, back to Godhead, for him, looking toward material possessions and women for sense gratification, not even enjoying them, but just looking toward them with such a propensity, is so condemned that he had better commit suicide before experiencing such illicit desires. So these are the processes for purification.
Can I read from here?
No. The next item is Jnana Yoga. The next item is Jnana Yoga Vyavastiti. Being engaged in the cultivation of knowledge, sannyasi life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life of spiritual advancement. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door for his livelihood, but this does not mean that he is a beggar. Humility is also one of the qualifications of a transcendentally situated person, and out of sheer humility, the sannyasi goes from door to door, not exactly for the purpose of begging, but to see the householders and awaken them to Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of a sannyasi. If he is actually advanced, and so ordered by his spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. If one is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounced order of life. But even if one has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in hearing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. A sannyasi, or one in the renounced order of life, must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samshuddhi, purity, and jnana yoga, knowledge. The next item is charity. Charity is meant for the householders. The householders should earn a livelihood by an honorable means and spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Thus, a householder should give in charity to institutional societies that are engaged in that way. Charity should be given to the right receiver. There are different kinds of charity, as will be explained later on. Charity in the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Charity in the mode of goodness is recommended by the scriptures, but charity in the modes of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it is simply a waste of money. Charity should be given only to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is charity in the mode of goodness. Then, as far as Dhamma, self-control, is concerned, it is not only meant for other orders of religious society, but is especially meant for the householder. Although he has a wife, a householder should not use the senses for sex life unnecessarily. These are restrictions for the householder, even in sex life, which should not be engaged in for the propagation of children. If he does
It
not
should only be engaged, not is only.
Which should only be engaged.
which should only be engaged in for the propagation of children. If he does not require children, he should not enjoy sex life with his wife. Modern society enjoys sex life with with contraceptive methods or more abominable methods to avoid the
Responsibility of the children. This is not in the transcendental quality, but is demonic.
demoniac. If it's demoniac,
Okay, but it is demoniac. If
if
anyone
anyone, even if he is a householder, wants to make progress in spiritual life, he must control his sex life and should not beget a children without the purpose of serving Krishna. If he is able to beget children who will be in Krishna consciousness, one can produce hundreds of children. But without this capacity, one should not indulge only for sense pleasure. Sacrifice is another item to be performed by the householders because sacrifices require a large amount of money. Those in other orders of life, namely Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, have no money. They live by begging. So performance of other types of sacrifice
Different types of sacrifice.
That's what I said, Amma.
Okay.
Different types of sacrifice. What was I? Oh, is meant for the householders. They should perform Agnihotra sacrifices as enjoined in the Vedic literature, but such sacrifices at the present moment are very expensive, and it is not possible for any householder to perform them. The best sacrifice recommended in this age is called Sankirtana Yajna. This Sankirtana Yajna, the chanting of Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the best and most inexpensive sacrifice. Everyone can adopt it and derive benefit. So these three items, namely charity, sense control, and performance of sacrifice, are meant for the householder.
Then
Dhamma.
Okay.
Then Swadhyaya. Vedic study is meant for Brahmacharya or student life. Brahmacharis should have no connection with women. They should live a life of celibacy and engage the mind in the study of Vedic literature for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is Swadhyaya. Tapas or austerity is especially meant for the retired life. One should not remain a householder throughout his whole life. He must always remember that there are 4 divisions of life: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. So after Grihastha, householder life, one should retire. If one lives for 100 years, he should spend 25 years in a student life, 25 in household life, 25 in retired life, and 25 in the renounced order of life. These are the regulations of the Vedic religious discipline. A man retired from the household life must practice austerities of the body, mind, and tongue. That is tapasya. The entire Varnashrama Dharma society is meant for tapasya. Without tapasya or austerity, no human being can get liberation. The theory that there is no need of austerity in life, that one can go on speculating and everyone will be nice, is recommended neither in the Vedic literature nor in Bhagavad Gita. Such theories are manufactured by show-bottle spiritualists who are trying to gather more followers. If there are restrictions, rules, and regulations, people will not become attracted. Therefore, those who want followers in the name of religion, just to have a show only, don't restrict the lives of their students nor their own lives, but that method is not approved by the Vedas.
Okay, you can stop there, Ria. Now, Nalini, can you read the rest if you're still on?
As far as the Brahminical quality of simplicity is concerned, not only should a particular order of life follow this principle, but every member, be he in the Brahmacharya ashrama, Gruhastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama, or Sannyasa ashrama, one should be very simple and straightforward. Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are now addicted to eating animals in spite of having an ample supply of grains, fruits, and milk. There is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then his progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is untimely killed, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa. Satyam. This word means that one should not distort the truth for some personal interest. In Vedic literature, there are some difficult passages, but the meaning or the purpose should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master. That is a process for understanding the Vedas. Shruti means that one should hear from the authority. One should not construe some interpretation for his personal interest. There are so many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita that misinterpret the original text. The real import of the word should be presented, and that should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master. Akrodha means to check anger. Even if there is provocation, one should be tolerant, for once one becomes angry, his whole body becomes polluted. Anger is a product of the mode of passion and lust, so one who is transcendently situated should check himself from anger. Apaishuna means that one should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. Of course,
Emergency.
sorry, Prabhu.
No problem. Can you attend to that? Okay. Maybe now Prabhu, you can continue reading. Of course, to call a thief.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Of course, to call a thief is not fault finding, but to call an honest person a thief is very much offensive for one who is making advancement in spiritual life. Hri means that one should be very modest and must not perform some act which is abominable. Akaphalam determination means that one should not be agitated or frustrated in some attempt. There may be failures in some attempts, but one should not be sorry for that. He should make progress with patience and determination. The word tejas used here is meant for the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas should always be very strong to be able to give protection to the weak. They should not pose themselves as non-violent. If violence is required, they must exhibit it. But a person who is able to curb down his enemy may, under certain conditions, show forgiveness. He may excuse minor offenses. Saucham means cleanliness, not only in mind and body, but in one's dealing also. It is especially meant for the mercantile people. We should not deal with the black market. Nati manita. Not expecting honor applies to the Sudras, the worker class, which are considered, according to Vedic injunctions, to be the lowest of the four classes. They should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige or honor and should remain in their own status. It is the duty of the Sudras to offer respect to the higher class for the upkeep of the social order. All these 26 qualifications mentioned are transcendental qualities. They should be cultivated according to the different statuses of social and occupational order. The purport is that even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all class of men, then gradually it is possible to raise to a different platform of transcendental realization.
Yeah, it's a lot of qualities, 26 qualities. But finally, even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, it is possible to rise to the highest platform. Right? So even a Shudra can become transcendental, a Vaishya can become transcendental, Brahmana can become transcendental, Kshatriya can become transcendental. So Material conditions are miserable. What are you going to do about it? But we need to develop these 26 qualities in order to go to the highest platform. So it is a challenge, but then we have to rise to the challenge. That is what is being said here. So we'll go over this next time because there's a lot to cover, to describe and so on. So do you have any questions before we get into chanting? Okay.